It was night. Jungkook sat on the bed with his laptop resting on his lap, the soft glow of screen illuminating his face. His jaw was tight as he focused on his office work. Fingers moving steadily over the keyboards. Just then a small figure approached him. Without a word, Wayne quietly pushed the laptop aside. Jungkook frowned and looked up, only to find Wayne standing there, looking completely innocent. Before he could say anything, she climbed into his lap, her legs settling on either side of his waist. She wrapped her arms tightly around him and rested her head against his chest, snuggling into him like she belonged there. Jungkook immediately held her back. "What do you want?" he asked in a deep, cold voice. Hmm? As he already knew. One looked up at him with a cheeky, innocent smile. "Can I go on that trip?" she asked quickly. Jungkook's expression remained unreadable. "No," he replied casually, without hesitation. One pouted. "Why, all of my friends are going. Why can't I?" She hugged him tighter. "Please." Then lowered her voice. She added, "You can come too. All their boyfriends and husbands are going with them. So you can come with me." Still Jungkook answered calmly. "No, I'm busy, I can't." One huffed. "You always say like that." She crossed her arms slightly. "I won't listen this time. I'll go. And that's final." Jungkook sighed. One tried to understand. "It's not about me being busy." He looked at her seriously. "Don't you remember every time you go on that trip or anywhere alone, you ended up. I can't take that risk." Her eyes welled up instantly. She snuggled back into his arms and mumbled, "This won't happen again, please." "No," he said gently but firmly. Still no. Then his tone turned more serious. "And don't you have university? How are you even planning on this?" One lifted her face, meeting his gaze. His eyes were deep and cold, but full of concern. "It's not a problem," she insisted stubbornly. "It's just a stress-free trip." "I really want to go. Please, Jungkook. Just this once." He stayed silent, thinking. One continued staring at him with her big, pleading eyes. "Pretty please," she whispered. Jungkook shook his head slightly. "Don't look at me like that," he said. "It won't work this time." Her eyes welled up again, tears threatening to spill. "I won't get lost," she said softly. "I won't leave your side, I promise." Her voice trembled. "Everyone is going, why can't I?" "And they are all going with their partners." She looked at him with pleading eyes and whispered, "I'll go with you. I know you can protect me, please." "Fine," he finally said. One's face instantly lighted up. A bright, cheeky smile spread across her face. "Thank you, thank you, thank you so much." She immediately wrapped her arms around his chest, snuggling into him happily. Jungkook could feel her excitement, her heartbeat fluttering against him. In a deep, calm voice, he added, "But you have to promise me." "Yes, anything," she mumbled against his chest. Jungkook hugged her tighter, with both arms. "You won't leave my side, not even for a second, okay?" One looked up at him and nodded quickly. "Yes, don't worry. You are the best." Jungkook chuckled, watching her adorable reaction. They stay like that for a while, wrapped in each other's arms. Breaking the silence, Jungkook asked, "Are you planning to sleep here like this?" Wan simply nodded, not saying a word. Jungkook shook his head with a soft smile and chuckled again. After a few moments, a quiet, soft snore sounded against his chest, making him realize she had already fallen asleep. He didn't wake her up. Jungkook and Hwan finally reach their hotel room after the long, exhausting 12-hour journey. The moment Hwan stepped inside, all her strength gave out. She walked straight to the bed and collapsed onto it, completely drained, her legs dangling off the edge of as she lay there. Jungkook closed the door behind them and quietly moved towards the cupboard area, placing their luggage neatly beside it, arranging everything without a word. Just then Wan's eyes wandered towards the balcony. They light up instantly. She pushed herself up and hurried towards it, opening the glass door and stepping outside. The moment she looked around, she gasped. "Oh my God," she whispered, then a little louder, unable to contain herself. "This is so beautiful. It looks so nice." She stood there, completely mesmerized by the view, the lights, the calm, the beauty of everything stretching out before her. For a moment, she forgot how tired she was. From behind, Jungkook approached her silently. In the next second, his arms wrapped around her waist, pulling her back gently against him. His tattooed arms rested securely around her stomach, his tall, powerful frame hovering over her completely, making her look small, delicate, almost like a kitten in his embrace. One flinched slightly at first, then relaxed instantly, melting into him. "It's beautiful, but not as beautiful as you." One let out a small giggle. "Are you tired?" Jungkook asked gently. She nodded softly. "It's late," he said in a low voice. "Go sleep." She nodded again, barely able to keep her eyes open. "Hmm." Jungkook smiled at her. Without another word, he lifted her up effortlessly, holding her in a koala-style embrace, and carried her towards the bedroom for sleep. Look who finally decided to show up early in the morning. Leah teased as soon as one stepped into the hotel restaurant where the girls had planned to meet. One dropped into the chair across from them and let out a wide yawn. "I just woke up late, okay? You know." Rina smirked immediately. "Yeah, we understand. Or should we say your husband didn't let you get away from him?" One rolled her eyes dramatically. "It's not like that." From the other side of the table, Emma leaned forward, curious. "So where is your husband? Did he actually let you come here so easily?" One puffed her cheek, slightly and replied, "My husband woke up early in the morning just to do his office work." Leah laughed softly. That's nothing unusual, sweetheart. My husband woke up early for work too. He's still busy. One smiled faintly and said, at least Taehyung Oppa is chill and romantic with you. But mine, he's cold, ice cold. So cold that I can't even break it. Rina sighed dramatically. At least your husbands are working. Jimin is still sleeping like a fool. From a far end, Emma wiggled her eyebrows. Wine laughed, along with the others. You guys' husband and boyfriends are so romantic. Wine continued teasingly, and mine, he's like a teacher, always bossing me around, cold, scary. Sometimes I feel like suddenly all the girls' eyes widen at once. Standing right behind Wine was Jungkook, arms crossed over his chest, calm, patient, and silently listening to every single word his wife had just spoken. Completely unaware, Wine went on proudly. Oh God, I'm the only mature one here who can actually handle him, you know. Wine stop, Emma whispered urgently. Wine frowned. What? I'm just saying the fact. Behind Jungkook, Taehyung, Namjoon and Jimin stood together, struggling hard to hold back their laugh. On the other side, Jungkook looked towards them, and the moment his sharp glare landed on the group, their laughter instantly stopped. After a brief pause, he spoke in a deep voice. Are you done, sweetheart? Wine froze. She slowly turned around. The moment her eyes met Jungkook's, her eyes widened. Then she smiled cheekily. Jungkook, you are here? She asked nervously. Jungkook didn't say anything. He didn't need to. His eyes said all. Wine shallowed. You didn't hear anything, right? She asked hopefully. Jungkook simply tidied his head sadly. Are you guys done? Taeyong burst out laughing. By the way, Jungkook, Wine is right. You are always bossing her around. He laughed again. Oh God, you two look so cute together. Jimin joined in. Yeah, for once he's right. You two actually perfectly matched. When both of them eclair and mutter under her breath. Jungkook, however, remained silent. He pulled out a chair and sat at the table. Namjoon calmly took the seat beside him. Meanwhile, Taehyung and Jimin sat down beside Wine, who was now trying her best to avoid Jungkook's gaze, though it kept falling on her again and again. She whispered under her breath, I'm literally doomed. Taehyung clapped his hand. So guys, where should we go? Jimin gone. You literally dragged me out of my sleep for this. Taehyung smirked. Jimin glared at him. Leah immediately snapped. Taehyung, don't you have any filter on your mouth? Taehyung pouted, while Rina's cheek turned red. Namjoon cleared his throat. He finally spoke, calm as always. How about the hills? The view is beautiful and the nature is really nice. Wan's eyes sparkled instantly. She nodded eagerly. But before she could say anything, Jungkook cut her off. Sweetheart, he said in a deep voice, raising an eyebrow. I know you. You can't even stand properly for 2 minutes, and you are talking about hills and mountains. One glared at him. I can, she said stubbornly. Don't worry. Jungkook looked at her for a moment. Still no. Then he turned to the group. And what's the point of going there? We can roam around the city and still enjoy. Jimin leaned closer to Wine and whispered, your husband is so boring. Wine nodded immediately. From the other side, Taehyung added, seriously, how do you even manage to live with him? Before they could say anything more, Jungkook cut them off sharply. I can hear you guys. Both Taehyung and Jimin straightened up instantly. Jungkook sighed deeply. Fine. Everyone broke into a wide smile. Namjoon nodded. Then it's settled. We'll go to the hills and in 1.5 hours, okay? Everyone agreed at once. One smiled happily while Jungkook shook his head, already knowing he had to give in every time it comes to her. All of them were now on the mountainside, walking together, exploring the area. On one side, Wine happily munching on her chips while walking. Her eyes sparkled as she took in the beauty around her. Every tree, every breeze, every distant view, like a small child seeing the world for the first time. Beside her was Jungkook. He walked close, almost like her personal bodyguard, his attention constantly on her, making sure she didn't trip, slip, or wander off too far. The others were nearby, some taking pictures, some admiring the view, others busy teasing and bickering like always. This view is so nice, Jimin said, looking around in amazement. It looks like heaven. Taeyong rolled his eyes. Look who's talking. The same guy who didn't even want to come here. Jimin smirked. Yeah, but the idea wasn't yours either. It was Namjoon's. Oh, sorry, I forgot. You don't have that kind of knowledge like Namjoon, do you? The rest of them stayed quiet, already used to their constant bickering. This was normal for them, arguing every chance they got. Taeyong smirked back. Maybe I don't have Namjoon's level knowledge, but at least I'm not short height like you. Before Jimin could say back, Taeyong turned suddenly towards Leah. Sweetheart, the view is beautiful. Come, I'll take a picture of you. Leah nodded immediately and walked off with him, laughing as they moved to the side. Jungkook shook his head sadly. Suddenly one spoke up, her eyes bright. Why are we standing here? Shouldn't we go into the forest area? Taeyong's eyes light up instantly. Yes, we should go. We could take some pictures. From the other side, Ima laughed. Sometimes I feel like Taeyong and Wyan are long lost siblings. Leah nodded. I feel the same, and sometimes I question my life decision like, should I really marry Wyan's brother? Everyone burst out laughing. Rina smiled and said, Jimin puffed his chest proudly. That's exactly like my wife. Jungkook sighed softly, turned towards Wyan, his voice deep and firm. What makes you think we should go into the forest area? One pouted immediately. Namjoon stepped in calmly. Let's go there. It will be fine. A few moments later, oh God, wine, warning sadly. My legs are hurting so much. From behind her, Jungkook spoke in a cold voice. You didn't even walk for 2 minutes and your legs already hurt. Wine nodded without hesitation. Jungkook shook his head. The view is nice here. Come, I'll take some picture of you. Wine's face instantly brightened. Really? Without waiting, she ran ahead. Jungkook stared at her in disbelief. So now your legs don't hurt when you are running? One turned back with a cheeky smile. No, now take my picture, quick. Jungkook lifted the phone, shaking his head sadly, but a faint smile on his lips and said everything. They all continue enjoying themselves. Laughing, talking, taking pictures, completely lost in the moment. A few minutes later, Jungkook's phone buzzed. He pulled it out and glanced at the screen. An office number. "Excuse me," he said briefly, already stepping away as he moved a little distance from them to make the call. The other remained where they were, chatting amongst themselves. One meanwhile looked down at her phone. Her brow frowned when she noticed the network was barely there, just a weak signal. "Why is it there no signal?" she mumbled. Without telling anyone, she slowly walked away like Jungkook, hoping to find a better connection. A few moments later, Jungkook ended the call and walked back. Then his eyes widened immediately. "Where is Wayne?" he asked sharply, his voice deep and urgent. Everyone frowned and looked around. She wasn't there. "She was just here," Rina said worriedly. "Yeah," Jimin added. "I saw her too. Where would she go?" Jungkook's heart dropped. His jaw tightened as he looked around again, then back at them, his eyes darkening. "Are you all—" He snapped. "Didn't anyone notice her leaving?" Jungkook calmed down. Namjoon said gently, "She must be nearby." Before anyone could say anything else, "Jungkook." Her voice echoed faintly through the area. Jungkook turned instantly and rushed towards the sound. There, Wayne was on her knees. Everyone ran towards her, but Jungkook reached her first. He dropped to his knees in front of her. "How did this happen?" he asked, his voice cold, but his eyes were filled with concern. "And why did you come here alone?" Wayne looked up at him. Her chest tightened. She remembered his word. Not to wander, not to get hurt, not to get lost. Her lips trembled as she bit her lower lips, tears falling faster. Jungkook took a deep breath. Slowly, gently, he lifted his hand and wiped her tears away. "It's okay," he said quietly. "Don't cry." "I'm sorry," Wayne whispered. Before she could say anything more, Jungkook lifted her into his arms without hesitation. He stood up and looked at the others. "We are going back to the hotel." Everyone nodded immediately. Jimin said, "We will come too." Jungkook shook his head. "No, I'll take her to the room. You guys enjoy, don't worry." They didn't argue, just nodded. Jungkook turned and walked away with Wayne held securely against his chest. After they left, Jimin smirked. "I'm sure Wayne is doomed." Rina laughed and nodded. "Yeah, I feel the same." Jimin leaned closer to her teasingly. "Sweetheart, you feel that way because we are one soul." Rina blushed instantly and shook her head. Taeyeon looked at them with shook his head and muttered, "Cheesy lovers." Everyone burst out laughing.